Hey guys, sorry about that. The video cut off. So I will mark it in the description and the title saying part 1 and part 2. So this is our part 2 of our Avengers Endgame review. If you are confused, there is a part 1 on my channel. I double checked, so it's there. So, yeah. So we were talking about Captain Marvel, and we didn't get into her in the battle, or like how they didn't talk to her really. So we're just starting. So
I don't know, maybe the technology doesn't like me bad mouthing Captain Marvel, but I think she's probably like the worst part of the. I think she's probably one of the worst parts of the movie. She's not in it that much. Well, I think we mentioned that she get like 10 minutes of screen time, something like that. She's there at the beginning, helping Tony and get to Earth, and
then the 5 years later, right after that, and then she's gone.
And then she finally comes back right in the middle of the battle, at the end of the movie. I think she's kind of one of those characters where she's on screen, and at least for me, whenever she's on screen, I was just annoyed. I was just like, go away, no one cares about you. And it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, number one, the character's been around the least amount of time, so to some extent, like, a lot of people don't really like you, and I don't care about you. Most of these characters have been here for years, and nobody cares about you just showing up. So yeah, that's one thing I didn't. She's shoehorned into the movie, really. I mean, this is honestly one of those things where if you cut her out of this movie, it's pretty much no different. She
didn't do anything in the battle that anyone else couldn't do, if they were being honest. Like, someone else could have flown with the, Infinity Gauntlet.
Her haircut looks bad too.
Yeah, it wasn't flattering.
They do actually. I guess it's like just the Easter egg for how it's been in the comics at times. But her hair she's got her short haircut, and I guess it's on Brie Larson. Their short hair, they went with just doesn't look good. It's pretty bad.
Oh.
I think I was also said Brie Larson. I think is probably miscast in the role. I don't find her very likable, very relatable, and I don't know. Like when she's there, I just want her to go away. It's like no.
When also she was never, we never saw her being introduced to anyone, or her introducing herself to the team. She was just.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one because it's one of those things where at the end of the Captain Marvel movie, the end credit scene shows her showing up on Earth. Again, like meeting, I guess it's Black Widow, whatever. And
that's not in the movie.
Yeah, it's not in the movie at all. It's kind
and
of
they don't do any scene like that.
She's just kind of there. They're all at the Avengers headquarters, where she's just kind of there, just talking to them and kind of to some extent being bossy. And I'm like. And they never actually showed these characters actually meeting each other. Really, they're just kind of together and they're just interacting like they've known each other, and it's pretty weird because we don't see them meet or anything. So it's kind of one of those things where I've seen some people talk about if they've seen wondering about this movie because they haven't seen Captain Marvel or whatever. And it's one of those things where you don't have to see Captain Marvel to watch this movie. Like I said, she doesn't have much screen time anyway. But, as long as you kind of know that this lady from space has shown up on Earth, and she is aware of the Avengers, and the Avengers are aware of her, it's really all you need to know. And she's not even in it that much. The Captain Marvel's having seen that is not necessary to understand this movie at all. And so I'm not even really sure why they did it. Like, why they went with that movie before this one.
I don't know.
And with the advantage of hindsight, it's kind of maybe you should have just waited.
Yeah, start Phase 4 of that.
If you want to if you want to get people into the theaters, kind of like.
Yeah. Obviously, it made them money, but mostly because I think it was the one before Endgame.
Because it was before Endgame, and everyone's like, oh well, she's gonna be in Endgame, so we better go see this. But I think maybe it might.
And they knew there would be like a tie-in, but it really wasn't. We thought it was. But it wasn't.
Yeah, maybe it might have been better if they would have went with, after Endgame to kind of kickstart Phase 4.
But this is what we got.
Introduce a new character. Because apparently, but we've kind of been told that she's going to be like a key part of the MCU going forward. But she hasn't. I think there's a lot of people who don't like her, and I don't think she's really been introduced in a way that's going to at this point that is really going to get people on her side. So yeah, I didn't like her in this movie. She's not in it that much, but I didn't like her.
So,
Yeah, I guess.
anything else
to
to say?
No, I think it's
Oh,
probably the last hero really that. I mean, she's kind of the lowest on the totem pole.
Oh, yeah,
of the
definitely.
heroes. Pretty much covered all of the heroes, but
So, moving on from heroes, getting on to the villain of both Infinity War and Endgame, and really the Infinity Saga, if you will, ever since we saw him turn around in the after-credit scene of the first Avengers, Thanos. We finally saw his Endgame play out.
oh yeah, it was kind of weird when he died 5 minutes in the movie, or
Yeah,
early in the movie when he gets his head chopped off.
yeah, the
by
Thanos
Thor.
we saw in Infinity War was just killed in the first 5 minutes, right before the time skip was revealed. Thor went for the head.
Yeah, I mean, Thanos is like, he fulfills his part. I mean, in this movie, you see more of him being bad and stuff.
Yeah.
One thing I kind of wanted to see, I kind of expected to see, I kind of thought we would get his relationship with Gamora explained a bit more in this movie.
They never.
Because they kind of realized, well, in order to get the Soul Stone, he killed Gamora, and it was.
He was really upset about it.
Really something
but
distraught that he was really distraught about it. But we don't actually. We never really got much of their backstory at all. I expected to get a little bit more in this movie, and they didn't. So that's a bit of a mysterious thing that was not really explained. So.
Yeah.
And then he kind of, at the end there, they kind of fight him, and he gets caught up in the snap.
Yeah. And
did you like the fact that he just kind of he was snapped with the rest of his army?
I'm mixed. Like I don't think it's necessarily a negative point, but it's not like I just expected this big death scene.
I mean, I guess you would imagine. Well, if his army gets snapped away, I guess you'd expect him to be snapped too.
Yeah.
But it was kind of. I mean, I guess either that or they'd just have to go with brute force just to kill him. So.
Which I thought they were doing, because he was around for a while. They just went with the dramatic, like him sitting down, looking off.
It was kind of like a Voldemort death in Harry Potter.
I was like, are they leaving him?
Pretty
to
much
be
the same
killed?
thing happens. They just kind of get just kind of dissolve away.
Obviously, we knew he was gonna die. So like in the end, I didn't really care like how he died necessarily. Just
Just they got him.
Yeah, I mean, so it wasn't like really disappointing. I was just kind of surprised they just did that like that, because it was like, oh, there he goes.
Yeah, I guess to some extent he actually doesn't have a ton of screen time.
No, and like because after the first 5 minutes, we're like, what's going on? We start to see him in the flashbacks once he starts to become aware of what.
I guess that just really
Avengers are
made
doing.
it to where Infinity War was his movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And then this one is just a different Thanos who is from 2014, who wants all the Infinity Stones to do this same thing. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was. I think I'm satisfied with him as the villain that we saw turn around. Like, what's his end game? I think seeing now like how it played out, and like obviously he was I thought he was amazing in Infinity War, besides the Gamora thing. But you know,
that was his moment, I guess.
But like,
kind of set him up over the years. Now
I'm satisfied with him as the big MCU villain for the first 22 movies.
I wonder where they'll go next with the big villain.
I don't know.
You wouldn't think that they would want to go with another big kind of cosmic bad guy.
No, it'd be kind of repetitive.
I mean, people throw out names like Galactus and stuff like that, and you're like, okay, but.
I'm fine with Dr. Doom. Norman Osborn.
You might if we're gonna go with Doom, you might want to get a Fantastic Four first.
Yeah, it might be Norman Osborn.
But
yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Thanos.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next, and a lot of the characters going forward, since we got the deaths of Black Widow, the death of Tony Stark, Steve Rogers is gone. The characters really going to be carrying the MCU forward are all the characters that were snapped, and the snapped characters aren't actually in this movie that much.
No, they show up to fight.
They show up in time for the big battle
shots
at the end, which is pretty awesome.
Oh yes.
And other than that, they just kind of they have some small moments in the battle, but they aren't in it a ton.
Yeah.
Black Panther shows up. Pretty much the whole army of Wakanda shows up. And he gets something of a moment where he's carrying the Infinity Gauntlet when they were basically trying to keep it away from Thanos.
Yeah.
And
Hawkeye tossed it to him, and I was just like, oh, thank the Lord, because the whole time I was like, give it to someone who can like actually protect it, because Hawkeye was just running around like, give it to someone effective.
It's like the weakest guy has
at least Black
I don't
Panther,
think that's the safe thing to
his
go.
suit will just like, they'll bounce off him, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, besides that, Doctor Strange got the moment of like pointing his finger to Tony.
Well,
Like,
he's
warning.
yeah, and,
So
like not only
that was
that,
kind of
he
his
brings
moment. Yeah,
all the people there through his little
and
circle
Scarlet
things.
Witch has a little moment of kind of, I guess you say, a few seconds of revenge with Thanos. She kind of pounds him with some
She
rocks and
hits
stuff.
him a couple times.
So that's fine.
All the Guardians kind of show
Yeah,
up.
yeah. We didn't really talk about the intensity of this scene. Like now that Snap characters are back, you just hear. I think you mentioned like you hear Sam say.
No, because
the
Cap
on your
is
left.
basically like standing there in front of the whole army of Thanos, and then you just kind of hear like like whatever communication device, whatever he's got, and you just kind of hear. He's like, I think it's Falcon. He's just kind of like on your left, Cap, and then you see the little circle, and then like T'Challa and all of them start coming through, and everyone's just like, every time someone new comes on screen, everyone's clapping.
Then you see, all of them either fly in,
The
just
Guardians
walk
show
in,
up. Valkyrie comes in.
basically
that was
every-
pretty cool because she comes in.
Okay,
like,
she's
her,
on a horse.
yeah,
She's flying on
Pegasus,
a horse,
basically. It looks like
Yeah.
Pegasus.
which is cool because visually in the battle,
visually
it
looks
made
super
her stand
cool.
out
She's
because
just
you're like, oh,
flying
there's
around on a
Valkyrie,
horse.
she's flying around. Yeah, so
And that was neat. And then they all, I think,
they brought back everyone that could be brought back.
I mean, the whole
From-
like
that we've been
M'Baku,
introduced
the
to.
whole
And their
army
whole
of
armies.
Wakanda's there. All
Like-
the sorcerers
Yeah,
from like Kamartaj, they're all
Yeah.
there. The Guardians show up. I mean, who else is? Like the Wasp, she comes in.
hmm
Um,
we get a shot of everyone
Falcon
prominent.
shows up.
Yeah,
Bucky shows up.
yeah,
I mean, they're all there. Spider-Man gets his kind of cool moment where he's back and Tony sees him and they kind of hug it out on the battlefield, and that was pretty neat seeing that.
oh, instant kill.
Oh yeah, and he actually instant kill mode gets
He's like,
activated in the
he's
battle.
impaling all these
That
people
was really
with the
cool. He
legs.
carries the gauntlet
Yeah,
for a while.
Once
That was
again,
pretty neat.
he's able to protect us. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Just keep tossing it to people.
Yeah, I think-
But
I mean, those guys are going to be the ones, I guess, because we know, I mean, Spider-Man's got the next movie coming up. We know Black Panther's got a sequel coming, Doctor Strange. So
they're the new.
they're not too prominent in this, so we just kind of see they just show up in time to fight, and then they get they're all there at the funeral for Tony Stark.
Yeah. So yeah, not like necessarily a lot of character moments for besides those that we brought up for everyone, but we literally saw everyone we've been introduced to. It was insanely epic.
Yeah, so we'll start with gets to see Gamora on the battlefield.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
his Gamora.
But he
But he
didn't know
gets to
that,
see
so
Gamora.
he just
And I think the one I can think of that I know doesn't really get anything, and it's not even any moment at all, is Groot. I guess because he had his moment, I guess, in Infinity War was when Thor needs the axe, and it cuts off his arm to make the handle for the axe.
Mhm.
But in this movie, he doesn't. I don't even think he really gets a shot of anything.
he gets a shot of him like charging for like a half a second.
Like I just wanted to just stab a couple people, and
Yeah.
hit him. I don't know, I mean something. I guess his emotional. It's not gonna have anything more emotional than cutting off your arm to make the axe.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they all kind of get little bits here and there. Groot doesn't really. He's the one that kind of gets the short end of the stick. Haha.
Mhm.
But but yeah, there's not much. Other than that, they just kind of show up for those few minutes to beat everybody, and then that's it.
Yep.
And they're worried about after that is just kind of sending off the big guys.
So,
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean
that concludes character moments.
yeah, but that's all the characters really that are involved. Because we're going to talk a little bit about just some of the other things that are a part of the movie. The use of time travel is one, because we all kind of, anyone who's paid attention to the speculation for this movie kind of knows that was going to be
Go
a
back in
thing.
time, get the stones before Thanos does, and then reverse the snap.
And I think it was executed
Pretty well.
fine. It was
Yeah.
one of those things where it's like, you could really mess this up if you start going with all just time travel and everything, of like, because you don't want to retcon stuff. So you start retconning a bunch of stuff, and then everyone's going to be like, well, what's the point of all this other stuff that I've been waiting all this time for?
Mm-hmm.
So I think they did it appropriately.
Yeah.
No, it was nothing super. It wasn't. They didn't try to go super over the top with it. It was just kind of,
Mm-hmm.
they managed it. To some extent, I imagine they were trying to play it kind of conservatively, because knowing the expectations for this movie, they didn't really want to. It was like, let's make sure that we don't disappoint.
Yeah.
A bunch of fans. So let's just throw lots of fan service in the movie, and
which was good.
just trying to make sure we hit all the right notes.
And the time travel allowed them to kind of, in a way, celebrate the 11 years at this point of the MCU, because they brought back a lot of characters, even if it was just short cameos. They went back to all these. They like put up on the screen like the year that movie came out, like the first Avengers time.
I guess
like
most of them like 2012, 2013, 2014.
So you could recognize all those moments because like we've seen those and were brought back to those times. So it was really cool in a way of like celebrating.
Yeah, you see, it's kind of, oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
that was.
Yeah, so that was neat. It referenced a lot of things, and yeah, like you said, fan service in a good way.
Yeah.
So.
Then, did you like on the subject of time? Did you like the movie is 3 hours long? Did you like the runtime?
I think it could have been trimmed down a little bit. The first half got a little bit boring at.
Yeah, I mean this movie they really tried to focus on. I mean, it makes sense. They tried to focus on character moments, on developing the characters, giving giving the characters their moments and their send-offs, and so there's not an awful lot of action. Like if you just have there's the one battle. Other than that, there's not an extraordinary amount of action. So, to some extent, and particularly the first half of the movie, it might have been, it was a little it was a little bit boring, a little bit kind of slow at parts.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they could have cut the movie down a little bit.
Yeah.
I think one thing we mentioned earlier was the stuff with Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Because they probably should have cut. I mean, the stuff with him being Ronin, they probably should have cut that out. It wasn't really something that was super necessary.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I think they could easily have trimmed off at least like 15 minutes.
Yeah, to cut Captain Marvel out of the movie, you know, like
there's 10 minutes right there.
You're just talking about
because it wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah, stuff that really doesn't change anything. They're just really trying to set the stage.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, even the boring parts, like I get what they were doing. Like you said, it was kind of
there was a purpose to it, but
yeah, it wasn't completely unnecessary. Like some cases of some movies where it's just like ridiculous that they made it. It was like it could have been cleaner. It could have been tied up a little bit better.
Yeah, they just kind of trimmed it just a little bit.
So, but overall, it's not
and you can,
horrible.
I think, touching on the visual effects too, we also kind of know that this was you could tell by the tone of the movie. This was a much kind of darker the way.
Like the final battle takes place like
really dark,
and I thought it was cool visually.
Yeah, because the way they, and
also like the MCU overall has really good visual effects for their movies. There's some moments that aren't, as in everything, but overall it's very solid.
Typically, always looks
same
good.
For this. I mean, Infinity War looked amazing.
If I'm gonna single out once, but I think when they were in their time travel suits, it looked like. Not all the time, but it looked like sometimes the faces on the characters were just kind of digitally put there.
Yeah.
So some of them were a little off. You can kind of tell. Other than that, it was just. I mean, that's sort of. I'm just kind of single out one tiny little thing I noticed.
Like the Quantum Realm, the final battle, which is just CG galore, obviously with all these
spaceships,
aliens and stuff,
and shooting stuff.
Yeah. And
another thing that's weird. I mean, this isn't really in terms of the quality of effects or anything. I don't know why they decided to make Captain Marvel so bright. So, I mean, I understand that she had like her power set and everything, how she kind of glows and everything. Okay, fine.
But when Tony saw her,
when Tony sees her, it looks like a star.
It's like blinding. It's like he's looking at the sun.
And it's like, I mean, I get it. That's kind of how. I mean, that's sort of like the source of her powers or whatever. And I know her, like obviously in the comics, especially her hand, her hands glow. Yeah. She shoots like energy blasts and stuff. But like, the fact that she kind of is as luminous as she is, and basically just like she shows up.
Kind of ridiculous.
She's kind of bright, and she's kind of like you're shielding her eyes from a kid. It's like what? Okay, I don't know why they decided to make her this bright, but and it's kind of that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that was just a weird choice. I mean, it looked fine, but yeah, it was a weird choice.
It's just
overall visual effects were some of the best I've seen. Like especially in that final battle, and Thanos. I mean, Thanos in Infinity War looked amazing, and he still looks amazing in this. Yeah. Insanely realistic CG creation. So.
Yeah. That pretty much. I think that wraps up most of everything we have to say.
Because we kind of discussed the future of the MCU with what we could expect with Black Widow, and then
At this point, they haven't announced anything.
No,
really.
Comic-Con will be the big one.
They're
going to have a big info dump.
I think Spider-Man: Far From Home is technically still Phase 3. I think.
Yeah.
So they might even try to explain something a little bit in that movie.
In credit scene or something. Or with they'll bring up.
So
like,
we
Tony's
kind of,
dad.
obviously Spider-Man is gonna have. They're gonna keep making the Spider-Man movies because
Yeah.
everyone's gonna go see Spider-Man movies. But I mean, Black Panther will have his sequels, and Doctor
Captain
Strange.
Marvel. Captain Marvel will have to.
Yeah,
just
she'll have
because
another
made
movie.
money.
Yeah, but in terms of, it'll be interesting to see what else new that they might introduce, and if they're gonna have like an Avengers movie that's gonna be like a team up thing in the future. That's
Which
gonna be.
I think it'll be in a while. Like maybe probably like 5 years. Honestly.
Yeah,
There's
I have
no
no
way
idea
that-
what they would do at this
Yeah.
point. It's just kind of because it's like you're not gonna top anything on the scale
let
as great
Endgame,
as this.
Let Endgame have its like.
And then it's
several
gonna be
years.
strange too because like you have a lot of the stuff that's gonna kind of be kind of cosmic based. If you're gonna have Captain Marvel and you have Thor still around with the Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah.
and then you have like Spider-Man.
Mhm.
And it's like I'm not
Yeah.
sure how they really
Yeah.
fit together because the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man on Earth and Doctor Strange is just doing mystical stuff.
I mean, they might eventually. Which once again, I think this is way down the road, but they have to, now that they've introduced it, have a new Captain America movie. I guess you say with Sam and maybe Bucky like being a sidekick. I think they'll do that eventually, but that's a while. I think.
Yeah. And well, they'll have the TV shows and stuff.
Yeah, they'll have the TV show, which we don't know all the details yet, but yeah, because Falcon and Winter Soldier have one. It's called Falcon and Winter Soldier. But obviously, now that
That's gonna
Sam's
have
Captain
to be.
America,
That's gonna have to be set in the.
yeah. So maybe those will explain things we don't fully know, but yeah, the Disney streaming service is having MCU shows. So
Yeah.
that it uses the same actors and everything, so it is canon. They've confirmed it. So who knows what we'll get out of those, but that's coming later this year. And
Yeah, well, it definitely feels like they did a good job in wrapping up this whole first.
yeah, they wrapped it up. They
This
pulled
whole
it off.
first chapter really of the MCU, 22 movies, and
It's a big accomplishment.
yeah, that would they
Making a
can
universe like this.
release the giant box set for $200 or whatever it's gonna cost.
They're doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Final thoughts. Endgame.
It's I've enjoyed it. It's crazy to think about the first Iron Man movie. I guess I remember seeing that in theaters. I was like, I guess it was like 13 at the time because it was 2008. So it's crazy to think when I go back and because I rewatched every single movie leading up till Endgame, which is a bit tedious. It's a bunch of stuff to watch, even the ones that aren't necessarily super important to tying into it. So it's amazing to think about. Like I remember just going to see all these movies, and they built up like it's basically just a decade, and they finally get here. So I mean, who knows what the next decade is going to have? All new characters, and hopefully we don't get burnt out on it. I'll go see stuff.
Yeah, well, I'll always go see them, but yeah. Following this, it's gonna be.
Yeah. They might need to even reboot it to a little bit to like maybe just a kind of a soft reboot. Just like,
Yeah.
Just because you can't get too crazy and then try to just kind of start over. Maybe they can get the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and stuff in. Why not? Given all the money they'll make off of this,
Yeah.
they should probably.
I'm sure they'll introduce Fantastic Four.
I want to see this movie get $3 billion just because.
Yeah.
I mean, they make like over $1 billion in a weekend.
Yeah. At least beat Avatar. I want it to beat Avatar.
I don't
That's
really
only
understand why that one is
2.78 billion.
like. I'm not sure why that's such a. How did that?
And it
make
got
that much money?
re-released. They kind of cheated.
But
it got
yeah.
re-released.
I mean, we're gonna go see it again.
Yeah.
At least once.
Yeah, I honestly.
IMAX would be pretty neat. I don't want to pay for that though.
I don't want to pay for IMAX, but I'll kind of want to experience it.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, like I'm very satisfied. I think they pulled it off. Did they pull off everything perfectly? No, but then again, did I think they would? Absolutely perfect?
Trying
No.
to manage my expectations
So-
going into it, so it was like, I mean, it was good.
I was really worried that they would retcon things and change things and bring back people that didn't need to be brought back, and they didn't. So,
yeah.
Kudos, and yeah, overall, I'm satisfied, and
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Ready to go see it again, and however many times I kind of have to get the $3 billion.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes. I'm sure it'll
I
be
just
at
want to
2
be able
billion
to,
by
this
this weekend.
Oh, probably yeah. I just want to be able to.
It's
I just want to be
gosh.
able to make it. Make it the highest grossing movie.
I think it's worthy of that. They build up this universe as something like
For
really
the sake of their universe as a
unprecedented.
whole.
Yeah, unprecedented. Like building a universe to this extent and concluding
Didn't Disney
it.
like buy Marvel Studios for like $4 billion?
They
Well,
made their return.
Make it like all back in one movie basically.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's about it. So
I think
yes,
if we're gonna give a grade, I would say
yeah,
I was
we
somewhere in
agreed
that
on
range.
8, yeah.
Good. I mean, definitely really good, solid. Not not perfect. Not like amazingly great, ridiculous, but really good.
Yeah.
Wrap things up in a satisfying way, and yeah, it's a nice decade long kind of story and universe that they built.
So yeah, so before we go away, I do want to say my next video will probably be the Aladdin review for the live action Aladdin. I will be reviewing for the rest of the year any big movie that comes out. Disney has quite a few, and so
Will
yeah,
Smith.
Will Smith as Genie, Beyonce as Nala, Toy Story 4 coming back for no reason, but
Yeah,
I will
that's-
review it. And I mean, you know, Maleficent 2, which I don't want, but I will review, and Star Wars Episode 9 and Spider-Man. So there's a lot of stuff. So yeah, I'm wanting to make more videos pretty consistently from now on. So yeah, so be sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe and if you want to put down your thoughts. I'm really curious what you have to say, because discussion for this movie is pretty fun. So yeah, and also what you think you want to see in the future of the MCU. That'd be really cool. So yeah, thanks for watching.
3